Hi everybody, I'm here like usual. I hope you're having a good day, and if not, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better soon. So I played Undertale a couple of times. It's a good thing. It's a good game. It has all the stuff a game does. It has graphics, it has sound effects, it even has dialogue, but not the ability to change your controls. Why can't you do that on keyboard? That's something. That's stupid. You know, there's some things that came to my mind related to this game, and now Deltarune. The music, the vibes of Deltarune especially, this general tone that stands out among most things available on the World Wide Web, and a fan base that's very easy to rage bait. I would know firsthand. I can literally go on TikTok and claim I could beat Undyne in a fight, and an armada of children would come for my head. And of course, the characters. Everyone's got some favorites. Some of the main guys, maybe some bosses, maybe even some NPCs. You play these games, you pick a few that you jive with. Personally, some of my favorites were Tenna and Papyrus, but across all three of my playthroughs of Undertale and some time goofing with Deltarune, no other character quite stuck with me the way Napstablook did. This is such a stupid character, and I think them alone is able to illustrate some of the depth that has led to Undertale growing to a modern classic. You have your first encounter and fight with them in the ruins. They are literally the first mini-boss of the game that doesn't have a forced solution. In terms of a fight, Napstablook's just a silly little guy visiting the area. They have a favorite spot to lie down in the ruins, pretending to be asleep in order not to have a social confrontation with the player. Overall, they're not doing the best. They're sad, they're very much an introvert, they have a cool hat, and they set a great example of the standards for the rest of the game, intentional or not. In a way, this is the first proper example that shows that the player's actions in the game, depending on the route that they take, is very much capable of changing the world of a single monster or the world of the underground as a whole. If you choose to act against the physically and mentally drained ghosts, they will thank the player for their kindness in this situation and head to their home located in the waterfall area of the game, where they'll continue working on their banger mixtapes. In the situation that no, you want to kill Napstablook, well, that's kind of a complication on account of that they're a ghost. In Undertale land, that means they cannot die, and as such is one of the few characters who technically will survive the genocide run of the game. And this is especially interesting on account of being a boss who does this feat. No other boss encountered within the genocide run actually survives, and it's not just like even a big deal when fighting Napstablook. Like again, ghost, fine either way. But it's also early enough in the run where there's not major changes to the continuity compared to the Pacifist or neutral run. And then obviously the world or timeline or whatever of genocide run gets destroyed, and all the remaining inhabitants technically erode because timeline erasure. I think that's the premise of Undertale, but that's besides the point. Sad ghost creature. I can understand why there's sadness. It's okay, they just need a hug. So after that first encounter, Napstablook fades away. The player can go give them a little visit at their home at Waterfall. They will lie down with the player. It's a nice time. It means a lot to Napstablook, and then you will head on your way out. And depending on the run, this entire area in Waterfall is really the last time you'll physically interact with them, other than the Pacifist run where all the monsters the player has befriended all try to show up and curb stomp Wowee McAzrael. Though it's worth mentioning the latter portion of the visit, because the houses found here are located on Blook Acres, and this is absolutely the point where I got personally attached with this character, realizing how pretty elegantly executed a lot of Undertale's intertwined and high regarded narrative and storytelling is. Napstablook has 2 to 3 cousins who all left the Acres, and they did this for the purposes of seeking corporal forms. And what this means that all of Napstablook's cousins are out there somewhere in the underground, and possibly this is where you start asking questions, you know, like, is Napstablook sad about this feeling of abandonment? Are there 2 sides to the story? Do Blook's cousins feel bad about this? You can't really say, just now that there's a cool snail farm and you can raise snails. And I think it's pretty cool. Am I right, lad, or am I right, lad?
You are right, lad.
Get out of here, you homunculus, stop entering my house. We know of 2 cousins, possibly a 3rd, but I'm not fully confident on that one. First off, want to talk about the Mad Dummy, Mad Mew Mew. Regardless, just a pissed off fella. You run into them in the waterfall as well, and they give more hints regarding the greater Blook family. Mad Dummy is unhappy for the reason that they are unable to completely fuse with a body. In this case, a banged up little dummy in the dumps. Their music is a sped up version of Napstablook's theme. Muffet gets an even faster version. I have no idea why they share themes with each other. It's fine though. I'm just upset for this situation. Mad Dummy is unhappy, and their journey will end here in the genocide run. In this run, they call out the player for being a bad person, noting the destruction of another dummy, the normal dummy. This one's implied to be another cousin that was trying to become corporal but failed because the player frickin' beats the hell out of that mannequin because it's genocide run. I also thought about the possibility of this being Napstablook attempting to like become corporal, that being the justification for them coming to the ruins. Not actually sure though. It's a possibility in part because of the normal dummies not given a name. I just think it's a fun idea, a fun alternative outcome, but regardless, regardless, there was an attempt for the normal dummy to become corporal. On the Nintendo Switch, and I believe Xbox ports, there's an additional story thing added exclusively for the dummy, where off-screen they enter Alphys's lab, steal one of her dolls, the Mew Mew doll, satisfied with this body, and putting more of a genuine effort not to be a little cretin of hate and destruction. Like, they want to become corporal, and they're trying their best. That's all for this one. Not a bad creature, just very prone to anger and frustration, giving entirely opposed responses about the whole ghost situation going on. So, I guess being able to control something is the next best thing for them. And maybe that's why Napstablook got all sad. Just that they could not find a way to become corporal, or they didn't understand why everyone else was. Or it could be with Mettaton. I like Mettaton. Fun boss, fun theme, hoping they return in Deltarune to some capacity. Like, these games love having their hosty type characters. If Spamton and Tenna or anything to go by, this is just a normalcy. In my eyes, this could be the prime indicator of Napstablook being all sad. So Mettaton, also called Napstablook by Papyrus as a headcanon name, aspires for stardom as much as they care about their genuine relationship with Napstablook. It seemed like they had a genuine care for each other as a family. It felt like music and entertainment correlated well with the two of them. Maybe that was like their shared ground for bonding. But one day, Mettaton, he kind of just skedaddles and leaves Napstablook alone. It seemed like a difficult time for both of them, and maybe one that was not fully healed. At the same time, there's a lot of moments that note Mettaton's desperation for stardom. A lot of them being like really awful, actually, like killing the human for entertainment purposes as much as hoping to just like end their life in order to be recognized as a hero of the underground rather than Asgore. And I saw this as their relationship falling apart, being the indicator that was responsible for where both of them are emotionally with each other. All that. Mettaton's goals got in the way of a relationship with a cousin. Though I want to note that Napstablook actually calls Mettaton in their boss fight to mention how appreciated they are as the primary source of entertainment in the underground, and that they are needed in the monster ecosystem. And then in the epilogue of the Pacifist run, when all the monsters reintegrate into the world of humans, Mettaton's seen once again attempting for stardom, but this time with Napstablook and his crew. I take this as a nice little moment for him. I quite like to see it, even ignoring how minimal this side story is in comparison to the remainder of the game. And then in Deltarune, completely unrelated in this alternate story, Napstablook accidentally becomes a cop and can't quit because they gotta support their cousins, so maybe that'll get brought up in the future. I don't know. We're at chapter 4, and respectively, I would prefer to refuse to play the game until it's fully completed. I know that sounds really dumb, but I don't want to get hooked and then wait for the rest of it to come out. I don't want another Hunter x Hunter situation or another Severance thing in my life where I'm desperately waiting for more of that stuff, and I don't even know if that's gonna happen. Nah, but overall, just the little portion of the world of Undertale has stuck with me for so long, from the years since my proper playthroughs. This was just a little part of the world that caught my interest and helped me better recognize all the different aspects going on in this world, in this universe, in this story. The fact that every monster is meant to have their own lives and challenges and quirks, how this world, although it revolves around the player, does not necessarily mean the world revolves around you. You are an alien to a land full of lives that are living. They were there since before you fell into the underground, and they will be there after the fact unless the timeline resets. Again, I think that's how the story works. It's really complicated to me. I don't know. But at the time of making this, it's one of the many little trinkets of emotion and storytelling that totally fit and represent the greater intentions behind the game itself regarding emotion and approach. It's just that ultimately, Napstablook's situation, character, and small arc found within the game tells you a lot about the identity of the game, what makes it special and what made it work. There is a comprehensible and justified reason as to why all of these characters are beloved, why Toby Fox keeps getting recognized for making these great games, why the attention is being brought to these games, why Stan's got a Mii costume out of pure popular demand. You know, there's some things I don't fully dig about the game of Undertale. Like, I understand why Genocide Run is the way it is, where you gotta like go out of your way to eradicate the monsters found across, but that doesn't mean that all of a sudden it should be ignored or anything like that. Like anything, Undertale and Deltarune are gonna be flawed, that's fine. I understand that the Genocide Run, like, that's the point of it, but let's be real, when you do a Genocide Run, you're doing it for the Undyne and Sans fights and nothing else. There is nothing else there, dude. And it's just because of how this small familial affair of the Blook family works and connects that I personally understand why this is considered such a good story and why it's appreciated across a larger community of fans creating all sorts of shit posting, fan art, theorizing, and all of that. The games might not fully click with me, but I understand why this place has a community, to say the least. That and the music. The music is very good. I don't know what the copyright is on YouTube, but just for the sake of this, let's all just like, I actually don't know if there's copyright on it. I'm gonna hope not, though. We're just gonna say we created all this stuff. This was not copyright. I have been warned that these games have inconsistent music on YouTube in terms of copyright claiming, but that doesn't matter. This is the best character Toby Fox has ever created, and I hope Napstablook gets a freedom motif because that would be funny. Give it to them, or Togor or Baby Bones. You know, one of the three. All of them are classics. Well, fellas, that that appears to be the end of what I gotta say. Heavily encourage you to subscribe, comment, check out all the other videos of mine if you enjoyed. Please be good people. Don't be annoying, because being annoying is annoying. And congrats to Undertale for hitting that big old decade anniversary, 10-year anniversary. This game is making me feel old. I can't believe it's already been that long, but you know what? I hope it's appreciated. I hope it's celebrated. Big number, big anniversary. It's a big deal. I'm very happy. I hope that more love is given and there's just more here. For all we know, we're at the start. I don't know. I would say it deserved all the love it got.
Yeah, happy birthday, Undertale. I love you, I love you, I love you.
Get out! Leave! You are trespassing! Go home, stupid! You need to leave.